Right here.
Mr. Warshawski, you're now recognized.
Thank you. Chairman Ferguson, Ranking Member Pascrell, and members of the subcommittee. I am Mark Warshawski, a senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute. From July 2017 through January 2021, I was Deputy Commissioner for Retirement and Disability Policy at Social Security, where I led the development of a revamp of the medical vocational roles for eligibility for disability benefits. I understand now is a very difficult time at the agency. No doubt there are many causes for this sudden and sharp deterioration in service and employee morale, and that these causes are both short-term and long-term in nature. But I want to focus today on a very important long-term solution to the service and resource problems at the agency. The currently needlessly complex and outdated rules and data that both claimants and the agency use to determine eligibility for disability benefits have to be simplified, modernized, and automated. And actually, a fully specified disability eligibility simplification and modernization proposal currently exists at the agency, waiting to be published. And really the question is, where is it? But first, let me give you just a bit of background to determine eligibility for disability benefits. SSA uses a 5-step evaluation process. The last 2 steps constitute the medical vocational rules, and they have not changed since 1978. They largely rely on job requirements data from the Dictionary of Occupational Titles, the DOT, which was created during the Great Depression and last partially updated by the Department of Labor in 1991 and not since. Among its 14,000 occupations, and I liked Mr. Camp's example, I have a few others, which are deemed to exist in significant numbers in the economy. The DOT has a phonograph cartridge assembler and a web press operator, print, but does not have a web designer. Furthermore, it has never included the mental requirements of work, an increasingly important factor in the modern work environment, as we've heard today. The regulation adopted in 1978 included a fairly prescriptive vocational grid for Step 5, which is outdated and largely inadequate. It is now used only in about 10% of Step 5 cases. For the rest, the rules are a framework, but they rely on a detailed and often very semi-informed analysis of job requirements and numbers of available jobs in the economy by SSA vocational specialists and vocational experts paid for by SSA. This adds time and it adds expense. These rules also dictate a difficult, expensive, and often inconsistent and arbitrary assessment of the ability to adjust or transition to new work at older ages. This also takes time and is very, very inefficient. The grid or the framework, it produces arbitrary and inequitable results, often related to age, and in my testimony I give some examples. There are particularly noticeable jumps in awards at age 50, which the regulations call closely approaching advanced age. Age 55, advanced age. And age 60, demarcations in the current regulations, giving considerable and increasing leniencies in eligibility standards. The natural increase in disability awards, according to objective definitions of disability, would be much more gradual with age without those rules. And there have been many changes in the American labor force since the 1970s that really do add weight to the case for reform. People are working longer, older people are working longer. There are a lot of new technologies and changes in the economy that reduce the physical aspects of jobs. There's a lot more part-time work than with substantial pay than there was in the past. This is not reflected at all in the current regulations. A modernized vocational database should replace the woefully out-of-date data currently in use. As we've heard, the Bureau of Labor Statistics and its team of nearly 200 field economists have produced in 2019 and 2020 a complete first wave of detailed occupational requirements, ORS information. Thus far, ORS has cost the SSA about $300 million, now roughly $42 million a year to run the survey, and we have not seen its use yet. With this new nationally representative data on work requirements, policymakers can make sensible policy changes to the programs. For example, if only entry-level work is considered as Step 5, the complex and time-consuming transferability of skills analysis performed at older ages can be omitted entirely, a significant simplification. Similarly, all this data would be housed in a public platform called the Vocational Informational Tool, the VIT, that combined with the streamlined new regulations would simplify and automate the vast majority of claims. When I left the agency in January 2021, this rule was ready to be published. It is We know that under current rules, some claimants are being inappropriately denied benefits and others are inappropriately being awarded benefits. This should not continue. Thank you for your invitation to speak, and I'm glad to answer your questions.
That's a wrap for today's updates. I hope this information provides valuable insights into the ongoing discussions around SSI asset limits and Social Security disability reforms. If you're curious about the $2,700 checks going out to seniors, check out our latest video right here. Until next time, take care, be safe, and thank you for tuning in to Financial Future.